Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, WWE drop plans to reunite a popular faction.
An AEW wrestler is staying put with the company.
There was some concern over Finn Balor on this week's episode of Raw.
And Tony Schiavone confirms a new AEW signing. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
Let's kick things off by talking about the Hurt Business.
It's been a while.
They're not getting back together.
Oh.
So it feels like this has been teased or hinted towards or full-on the people who are in the stable hanging about on television together for about 6 months. It's been going on for ages. Bobby Lashley has said in interviews, I want to get back with my friends and do cool stuff. I want to put the stable back together. And it looked like we were heading in that direction. Now we are not heading in that direction. If you'd wondered why the teasers had kind of ceased on WWE television over the past wee while, it is because, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, WWE started it and totally dropped it. So the Hurt Business is not getting back together, it seems, for now, which I think is a bit of a shame. They obviously came together, was it 2020? Yeah, it was in the middle of the global rubbishness. They had a pretty short run. They were split up seemingly against their will. Before they'd really had a chance to pick up major steam and be like a long-term thing, they just kind of all turned on each other. And Lashley obviously went on and was WWE champion and was very successful. Shelton Benjamin went off, and him and Cedric were teaming for a while afterwards, and then they feuded, and then MVP was kind of in the middle of all this. MVP has since moved on to Omos, completely independent, and all of this. It's a weird mess of a thing. I like these people individually. I liked them together as well. Strange. Yeah, it
gave Bobby Lashley as a character a bit of impetus as well, didn't it? I'm not saying that you have to reform and they just be the lackeys who, so when he faced Goldberg, they were just bumping all over the place for Goldie.
Goldie.
And
Bill Goldie.
But I feel bad for the likes of Cedric in particular, because it was a good way of sort of giving him more and more exposure. Yeah. It felt like, oh, cool, this is going to be one of those stables where at one point they're going to hold all the gold. And they had that photo, didn't they, one of the pay-per-views. And then, it rapidly just fell to pieces. And then they couldn't work out whether Shelton and Cedric were mates. Was that right? They were they feuded, and then they were like, oh, bollocks, we need a tag team. You were a tag team, right? Yeah. It was weird.
Briefly got back together in 2021-ish. It was just strange. It was something that the WWE killed too early, teased, flirted with bringing back, and then never did, and now it's happened again.
Yeah, it felt like there was a window there, wasn't there, where you've got this other huge faction in the bloodline, and you could have banger matches where it's like you could have 6-mans to build to a big match where Bobby Lashley challenged Roman Reigns, for example. It doesn't feel like that's going to happen anytime soon anyway. But a bit of a shame, this.
Yeah, I think it's a shame. I was looking forward to them getting back together because I thought they were good together.
But if you're a fan of Shelton Benjamin, an interview with him from WrestleMania weekend, hopefully, if it's been cleared, on its way very soon. I don't know why he shouldn't be. He was a lovely chat to chat to.
What a nice man.
Top bloke. Right, let's talk a little bit about this AEW wrestler staying put. It's Brian Cage.
Brian Cage.
There's been a lot of speculation around him recently. Obviously, there was all that talk around his contract expiring around Supercard of Honor. I, for one, watched that event thinking, oh, cool, so the Embassy are going to drop those 6-man titles of theirs. And then they won, and I thought, cool, so Brian Cage is probably sticking around.
Yeah, he's
and
re-signed.
That has turned out to be the case. Yeah, he is re-signed. Fightful Select coming through the report on this one. Of course, as Fightful reports, no surprise in the fact that WWE were keen on signing Cage. Look at that man.
Kel Surprise.
But Cage, who used an agent during the negotiating process, liked AEW's offer and chose to remain. He sort of flip-flopped a little bit on AEW, hasn't he? He's been one of those who sort of makes the odd comment on social media, either through his or other channels.
Yeah.
But I think probably it's the best place for him right now.
Yeah, he's had a very curious AEW run, hasn't he? He came in with Taz, obviously, and we had the Team Taz run, which I was a big fan of. Then they split off and he feuded with Ricky, which was a lot of fun as well. And then he disappeared for the best part of a year. And then some weird stuff happened and he came back. And now he's been doing some pretty good work.
The Embassy look like killers.
Yeah, I enjoy them together a lot. They're lots of fun. It's a vehicle also to get Prince Nana back on in wrestling in 2023.
Good stuff.
As a Ring of Honor nerd, that is right up my street. But yeah, he's had such a strange career. Obviously a talented guy, and like this is probably I think it's probably the best place for him.
Yeah, one of those people who benefits from AEW acquiring Ring of Honor, because I think if it was just AEW, chances are he'd probably go, you're not really using me here. I want to try my luck over there. But Ring of Honor, 6-man titles, doing some great matches. And just looking great alongside the rest of the embassy. Good stuff.
And he can keep doing indies and all that stuff under his deal, presumably. Yeah, good stuff.
He's one of those guys who I always go, no, I got it. Brian Cage got it. And then he does something in a match and I go, you shouldn't be able to do that, Brian Cage.
This is absolutely outlandish.
So amazing.
Strange. You know what else is amazing?
What? Getting stitches in your head?
Yeah, that was a terrible lead-in, because this is the opposite of amazing. Finn Balor, he's amazing. There you go.
He is.
So Finn, right? There was a bit of backstage concern over Finn wrestling Rey Mysterio on this week's episode of Raw. That's pretty much the story. It comes from Fightful Select. He was apparently pretty banged up heading into the match. And some people backstage were a bit concerned about the situation. So him and Ray went it must have been the best part of 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It was quite a long, TV standards, quite a long match. Finn won, kind of continues the whole Judgment Day, Dominic Ray, all of that stuff keeps on rolling effectively through this. But of course, this came just 8 days after his head exploded, the poor guy, when he was facing Edge at WrestleMania. Early-ish in that match, Edge kind of launched a steel chair at his head.
It was a ladder, wasn't it?
It was a ladder, yeah. Why do you think it was a chair, idiot?
Easily mistaken.
Yeah, simple
Andy, you're sitting on a ladder in the office.
That's why I'm so tall. But yeah, that happened, and they kind of had to just focus on Edge, picking weapons out for about 3 or 4 minutes, because Finn was being administered a numbing agent and had his head stapled shut.
Do you want to? I'm not sure if we talked about this on video. Do you want to know what our experience in the arena was? So it happens.
Yeah.
We go, right, he's not moving, and I think that's a towel. We were quite high up.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, okay, he's probably getting, cleaned up or whatever. And then I think it was Miller who pointed out, oh, he's when he flopped around like a fish.
Yeah.
He's doing that, but you could tell the cameras weren't on him. And that's when we worked out he was either getting, a huge needle shoved into the top of his head and then going, or just getting his head stapled there and then, and the numbing agent hadn't quite worked because he was just, you could just see someone flinching, what have you. Look, fair play for him to finish that match, let alone work on Raw.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Obviously, if he's competing on Raw, it's because he's been medically cleared.
Yeah.
So, the judgment of the medical professionals is what you lean on in situations like this because they are medical professionals. But yeah, he tweeted afterwards, after Raw, hey, I have 15 staples in my head and I still beat this guy, so...
Did he have a calf strain, tear, something like that as well, I read somewhere? I don't know, maybe I've just made that one up, but yeah, regardless, 18 or whatever it is stitches he's got in his head.
95.
He's working with Rey Mysterio, so you're probably going to be all right. Rey's a very safe worker.
He's pretty good at wrestling, actually.
Still, though, one wrong move with the 619, and that's getting reopened.
Yeah.
I have to say, I thought they put on an absolute ripper of a match. I put this over in the weird solo Raw review I did, WhatCulture Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. Put this over because I thought the match itself was just great and made me think, guys, is Raw going to be all right, actually? And yeah, like you say, worked 15 minutes, obviously, presumably a bit longer than they originally planned with all that travel chaos. They just went, Finn, Ray, you're two legends. You can work it out when you're out there. Just go a little bit longer, basically. And yeah, I love Finn. We regularly watch stuff. It is work related, obviously, because it's our job, but in addition to stuff we need to be doing, because when it comes to the Judgment Day, you can tell they're just all having so much fun, and I'm so happy for Finn. And it seems like that Edge loss has just sort of slid off him, and he's just back doing his great work.
Yeah, he's good.
Good.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Finn Balor good.
But maybe, just have a lie down for a few days and let that head heal up.
Don't get hurt. Again. Poor guy. Gee whiz.
Let's talk about Billy Starks. I don't know why I have to
what
say
is
a name
that
like
voice?
that.
Is she from Yorkshire?
Yeah, I'm Billy Starks. I'm an 18-year-old wrestling prodigy.
I remember seeing her on Emmerdale Was that in Yorkshire?
Yorkshire? Somewhere around there.
I don't know how you English people say these things, man.
Anyway, Tony Schiavone has revealed that she is signed with AEW. She is all elite. He revealed it on a recent episode of his What Happened When podcast with the brilliant Conrad Thompson. And it's one of the best podcasts out there. That's not ours. And this came as they were talking about Nick Wayne, who, of course, is going to make his debut on AEW Dynamite in July when he turns 18. I couldn't get over this stat, by the way. A wrestler since 2018, despite how young Billy Starks is, she's already wrestled 365 matches according to Cage Match. That's amazing. And she's already done some stuff on AEW, of course, and I believe a tiny bit on Ring of Honor too.
Yeah.
Good signing this.
Lost to Jade in a TBS title match, most recently, of course, last week, a Battle of the Belts. Sorry, my throat is being weird today for some reason.
You're saying someone retained a title at Battle of the Belts? That never happens.
Oh no! What's going on there? Predictable outcome of Battle of the Belts. But like this is a nice story because she's had like 365 matches. She's 18 years old.
Wild.
It's wild. Yeah, she's been a fixture on the American Indies for years, like in places like GCW and Black Label Pro, places like that, while going through high school. So it's like a really cool, it's a literal coming of age story. You see, and I think Billy's great, and I think obviously her best years are still to come. She's only 18. Nick Wayne coming through at 18 as well. He was signed when he was 16. It was described as like an apprenticeship. These are the people that AEW will be hoping are like on their shows for like 20 years. So it's cool to see the kind of youth movement growing. You'd imagine that these younger wrestlers will be allowed to keep going on the indies as well, because that gives extra seasoning when you can't get on TV every single week, which you probably won't for a while. Good. This is a nice story.
Yeah.
Like Billy was posting like prom pictures the other week that were doing the rounds.
Unbelievable.
It's a cool story.
Yeah, and it was interesting as well because it was kind of a toss-up, really, wasn't it? It was either AEW or NXT. Her sister Zoe's there, of course. Her brother Ricky's in AEW, so it makes sense that she'd want to.
Her dad Tony is in neither, so there you are.
He's busy being Iron Man.
He's the guitar player in Black Sabbath.
Is he?
Yeah, Tony Stark's Iron Man. I'm terrible. Let's go.
Let's move on to your Twitter question. I would 100%.
That's Tommy Lommy. Whoops.
Tommy Lommy.
Gosh.
Twitter questions time at WhatCulture WWE. By the way, if you can't get enough of these questions, me and Andy did a full Q&A podcast yesterday that was a load of fun. It's well worth checking out. WhatCulture Wrestling Podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. I'm going to butcher this guy's surname. Apologies, Ryan. Ryan Hazenauer, I believe.
Okay.
Writes, welcome back to Adam Wilborn. Thank you, Ryan. When attending wrestling shows in an arena or stadium, is your preference to be in the upper decks, lower seating level, or on the floor? And have you guys ever watched a wrestling show from a luxury suite?
Never watched from a luxury suite,
No.
because I am not a luxury person.
No.
I'm a tinker, me.
I never get it when I see the wrestling media. We're just...
We're losers.
Yeah. Watching Mania from that like glass box. I'd rather be literally the furthest away from the ring, because at least you get the atmosphere and you can
be in the people.
Plus, also, can you imagine me in the media box, all the serious journalists, and then you get this movie there. I'm like, oh my god! Sorry, mate. Can you piss off, please?
Yeah,
I'm trying to do some work
shut
here.
up, brother. I would.
Is this the best wrestling match ever? Shut up.
Preference-wise, I would probably like to sit somewhere where I don't have to watch it on the big screen.
Yes.
I prefer that over like being in the gods and stuff. Not that being in the gods is like the worst thing ever, because you get like the full panoramic view and you're still like in with the people. But I think like, like bottom of the bleachers, so you're a bit elevated. You've got a bit of an elevated view, but you're not so high up that you can't really see. I think that's the golden place.
That for me, you're right there in terms of. We were lucky enough at 38 to be sat to sort of on the lower seat level to the right, so you're sort of nearer the ramp, and you got the full entrance, and you get to watch the match. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to sit on the floor just once. I got to do that for a few WCPW shows, but never for like a big WWE or AEW show. Hopefully, that'd be so. Like, I'd love to be literally there at ringside.
Yeah.
But I think generally. If you can't get literally right next to the ring, put me, just that first level up so I can get a direct view to the ring.
Perfect.
But in amongst the people, that's where I love to be. And
be with the people.
Wrestling suite.
Unless they've got like COVID or a cold or something.
Yeah.
In which case, go away, the people. Get rid of them.
Or they smell.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We are British.
Yeah. John Harrison gives us our second question of the day. He writes, "Good Wednesday, boys. Good Wednesday."
Is it a good Wednesday, John? Is it? I think it's a mediocre Wednesday, to be honest.
With AEW coming to Wembley Bloody Stadium, do you think we'll see more AEW stars showing up in UK-based promotions to help promote the event? Have a great day. Peace, love, and a fist bump to Baby Wilborn. Thank you, John.
Bop. I don't think so. I don't think so necessarily. I think it's cool when people from slightly bigger companies go elsewhere and collaborate, and I think the wrestling world kind of coming together is very positive.
It's awesome when PAC started doing it initially with that, whatever it was called then, International.
The All Atlantic
Thank you.
It was initially. But I don't necessarily think we'll see this beyond what is currently done, which isn't a whole lot, admittedly. I think that I just don't know if there's much value in promoting the AEW show at these events, because I think that the people who are going to these British indie shows probably already know about the Wembley show. So I think it would be an effort that might not necessarily be worth it beyond maybe just having like a cool match.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I don't think they're going to do it as a means to sell more AEW tickets. The way they do that, as Andy Murray pointed out on a podcast yesterday, is book Goldberg.
Yeah,
it?
Goldberg, come on.
It's that simple.
There's no other solution.
If you can't get Punk, get Punk. Punk's alternative.
BG Punk. There you go.
Mum, can we have Punk? We've got Punk at home. Punk at home, Goldberg.
A like-for-like replacement. You know, I've always called Goldberg the true voice.
I get him
of
confused
the
all the time.
Yeah, man.
Who was it had the undefeated streak in WCW?
That was Punk, yeah. That was Necro Butcher, actually. So, confused.
Final question today comes from TG Carter. It's actually not for either of us, this, but I'll let you get an answer whilst I think I've just heard his jet touchdown. TG Carter writes, "Morning, you sexy mania zaddies. I take it the grizzled..." Sorry.
What is a zaddy?
Oh, I'll take it. I take it the grizzled young veterans have re-signed with NXT, as they were on this week's NXT. They were going after Gallus, or arguing with them at least. They were on this week's NXT, so I take it they've re-signed. Can the response be in the form of Stacks, please, king of the mic? I mean, I can't do Stacks. Hi, guys.
Can you not keep this crap for the podcasts?
There's a podcast coming later on today.
You just do that on those.
I'll see if I can go and get him.
It's your fault. Who asked the question?
TG Carter.
TG Carter, how dare you?
I'll go and see if I can let Stacks in. You give us your thoughts on the Grizzly veterans sticking around in NXT.
I don't think they've re-signed. I don't think they would have asked for their release if they intended on re-signing. I think they're probably just holding them to their contract. And as professionals, I think they're probably just saying, hey, we'd rather work than sit out. Come on, just...
Yay, guys! Hey, Andy, how's it going, buddy? Love those goddamn Grizzly Young veterans. Speaking of which, Andy,
Jesus.
What is the difference between a battery and a scouser? Huh? What's the difference between a battery and a scouser?
Battery has more chance of winning the league this season?
Close! Okay. It's good, but it's not right. A battery's got a positive side. It's the way I tell him. See you later, guys. Oh, boys. See you, mate. See you. Look after yourself. Well, stick around for the NXT podcast later on today.
And if that isn't a ringing endorsement, I don't know what is.
What a lovely guy. He was. I saw him, by the way, at Stand and Deliver.
Did you?
Also saw him backstage at Wale Mania, and he gave me a look. Let's just say.
Okay.
And finally, you like this morning, Andy, and I know you want to share.
Will I, after that? Will I like anything again?
It's the brilliant Backward Bloom 80 on Twitter, who tagged yourself and Simon Miller.
I did like this.
He said, well, Simon and Andy, I've finally given in. I have now embraced the bald head. It seems to me I can feel a cool breeze a lot easier now. Hashtag bald is beautiful. Embrace this.
Welcome to the community, my friend. Yeah, absolutely. Like, if it's going, it's going. Nature, you cannot reverse it. You can get silly hair implants and plugs and all that stuff, but guess what? That makes you a coward, and also, you're still gonna go bald even after you get those. Look at what happened to Roberto Martinez, if you don't believe me. Disaster zone. So shout outs to our very good friend here. Welcome to the community. Big warm embrace. Bald is indeed beautiful, and here's our losers.
Yeah, I sense I will be joining that community sooner rather than later, unless I can find like a nice well-fitting fedora or something, but I'm on the lookout.
I would say you're about number 3 among the pool at the moment. I'm not going to rank them, but there's people further ahead of you in the line.
They're the canaries down the mine. When they start
Yeah.
That's when I'm going to think
There's
about
some
it.
good hairlines in here and there's some bad ones.
I'm just going to start colouring mine in on Microsoft Paint when I take photos. No wrestlers would ever do that, would they?
Oh, never.
Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories and on Stacks in the comment section
No,
below.
that crap needs to be kept to the podcasts.
NXT review podcast coming your way later on today.
I'm gonna run in front of a bus like Regina George.
Thoughts, Twitter questions, all that good stuff at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there, follow both of us, follow Andy Murray
At Andy H. Murray, the H stands for Hoop 55, Ben Hoop.
I love the idea
like
of someone
Ben.
going, I've heard a lot about this WhatCulture Wrestling News. Let's see what they're all about today. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah. Why is there a ripped cow in the background?
Don't ask questions.
It's Tommy Lommy.
At Adam Wilmore for me on Twitter, at WhatCulture WWE for all of us, WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, for Daily Wrestling Podcast, the NXT Review Podcast, as I said, and the AEW Dynamite.
Make it even
It's
dumber.
Keith Lee versus Chris Jericho.
He's had your jelly in his mouth.
He has.
Aye.
Keith Lee versus Chris Jericho tonight on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Oh, good luck, Chris Jericho.
He's
He's
gonna
get
get
kicked in.
yeeted.
Oh, he's going to get pounced out of his fucking shoes, isn't
Yeah,
he?
man.
Yeah. Yeah, WhatCulture Wrestling for that. And that's it. I've finished what I say. So, thanks for watching. My thanks to Andy Murray, to Stacks, to the Cow. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.